Our next guest is a director, producer, and actor. And he's also part of a very small, very exclusive club of actors in Star Wars that have played both digital and live-action characters. You may know him as Snoke, or as Kino Loy in Andor. He's behind those doors right now, but as we all already know, there is only one way out. Please welcome Andy Serkis.
Wow. One way out! One way out! One way out!
Well done.
Amazing.
Now, Andy, this is your first Star Wars celebration, but
is.
you already fit right in.
I love it. I'm going to come back every year.
You heard it here first on the internet. We all know that's going to be true. Thank you so much, though, truly, for being here with us. We're so excited to have you here at Star Wars Celebration Europe, part of the Star Wars family, first as Supreme Leader Snoke of the First Order, and most recently as Kino Loy. What was it like? I know. Everybody loves both of those characters. What was it like for you coming back to Star Wars in a non-digital live-action character for Andor?
You know, it was really funny. When Tony Gilroy first talked to me about it and I was offered the role, I was really worried about taking another Star Wars role because there had been so many theories about Snoke. So, and I just thought, oh no, people are going to start thinking that somehow Kino Loy is related to Snoke, or, you know, that he is some sort of weird uncle of it as well. I don't know. It was just like, I was really concerned. And then I thought, oh no, I mean, the writing was so beautiful and the character. And I mean, that was the great thing about Andor, as I'm sure you all appreciate, the crafting of the series, the writing, the structure, that every single character has such a complex psychology and emotional journey, and it's just and I think that's why it was so popular, and so I could not refuse this character that comes in, and it was, you know, I was told, you know, we're going to keep you a secret, and I was relieved about that because I'd spent such a long time with Snoke deflecting all the different theories, you know.
Yeah.
So it was really great, and I really loved the character, and was delighted to come back. Oh, thank
you. We love you, and we love Kino. How did you approach playing the character of Kino Loy after you said, I absolutely can't refuse this offer from Tony Gilroy?
What I wanted to do was to really work out who Kino was before he went to prison. Because it was just like, what is it about this man that... What I loved about the journey of the character was this man who actually was very principled, who was, prior to being incarcerated in Narkina 5, was maybe, you know, a union leader of some sort, or stood up for his fellow workers' rights, had purpose, was driven, had a family, was, you know, absolutely knew who he was. And then once he's in prison, all of that is taken away from him. He's desensitized, he's dehumanized, he doesn't know who he is anymore, so he just goes to looking after number one, looking after, you know, and that felt to me a real kind of way into the character. And then, of course, when he's united with Cassian Andor, and he is reignited into the idea that he can galvanize people, and he does have the ability to think of others and serve others, that became his redemption until his moment of self-sacrifice, knowing all along that he was
Spoilers.
not going to make it, you know.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Spoilers again, but I think that your singular line, I can't swim, was just the biggest heartbreaker of a line for me in the whole series. And there are a lot of heartbreaking lines in this series, but that one just cut me to the core.
Yeah, when I read it, I was like, what? Can't swim? You're joking. I was like, What did you say? Snoke can swim. Yeah. I know, it's just like, so anyway, people have been asking me what's going to happen to Kino Loy. I'm just leaving it at that.
There you go. There you go. I love that you have a tremendous headcanon for Kino and his whole backstory, and it's very rich and it's a lived-in life. But did you draw on any real-life inspirations as you were working to build that character?
Well, yeah, actually, in actual fact, the whole notion of being someone who is principled beforehand was really related to my late brother-in-law, who was in fact a union shop steward and actually did stand up for fellow workers' rights and was very much admired for that. So I did base it on someone real. Yeah.
That is so lovely, and thank you for sharing that. You also brought an amazing intensity to this performance. I just felt like it was penetrating through the screen. It was just like you were in the room with me every single scene. How do you come down from something like that when you're doing a role like this and it is just, you are at an 11?
I mean, well, the thing is, and that set was an incredibly intense set to work on. It was a beautifully designed set, but you really couldn't escape anywhere. You really were with everybody else trapped on that set. And of course it was
the method acting.
It was, yeah. And of course it was COVID times as well. So it was really difficult. And some of those walkways were, they were like COVID test tubes, basically. We were just lined up, but masks on, quickly taking your masks off for the take, and then back. So it felt, and then being barefooted, and then those paper suits which do really desensitize you. And when you're doing this for weeks and weeks, and Kino is just such a, he's like a coiled spring. So it did keep you on edge for a lot. And so those moments where he flashes were kind of semi-genuine sort of moments of kind of, get me out of here. And when he starts to realize things are going wrong and that there is a possibility that they will never escape, it was something that we were all feeling. It was quite incredible.
Yeah, and there's a lot from the performance that comes across just in your face in very subtle ways, and in your speeches, in the way you speak, in the dialogue, but also in that wonderful monologue in the last episode with you, not the last episode of the series. Were you surprised by the fan reaction to Kino Loy in general, but also to that moment where Kino Loy is giving the monologue from the heart of the prison and he's rallying everybody to find that one way out?
It really did, for me, that was that piece of writing, again, going back to Tony Gilroy and his genius, to actually take a character on that arc and then give him that kind of rallying call, which doesn't have the confidence at first, which doesn't, he's lost his mojo really until he is inspired by Cassian to do it, and he suddenly, it's like he remembers, he sees himself. And that moment, then it starts to build, and then he, you see a man kind of regaining his consciousness and regaining his ability to bring people together, and that was really gratifying to play, and it was a very emotional scene to play as well.
Yeah, it's transformative for Kino from when we meet him to where we leave him, and I will leave it at that. I know no more. I'm sure you know more than I do, perhaps. Since we're all friends here. Right? We're all friends here? Yeah. And I promise you will not be thrown in a Star Wars prison if you answer this next question. Did you take anything from the Andor set?
Well,
that's a yes.
No, I didn't steal anything. Although I was very
borrow. Did you long-term loan anything from the Andor set?
No, but we were all given our cell numbers, actually, which are on the doors. You'll see them. All of the actors who played the characters, in those scenes, were given their cell numbers, which was really lovely to take. It was a really lovely memento, and we were all allowed to take home our sliders and flip-flops, which, quite frankly, you had to bin immediately because they were so disgusting.
So you binned the sliders.
Yeah.
You kept the number. What have you done with it? Did you put it up?
Yeah, that's outside my loo at home, actually. Yeah.
That is the perfect place for that. Wonderful. Now, is there anything you want to say to all of these wonderful gathered fans here today, here in this room, and watching live from home at your first Star Wars celebration?
Look, yeah, get on program. No, I would like to say that it is, you know, I came into this as a fan. I grew up, of course, with the movies and loved it, but my biggest inspiration was actually my brother is a super mad fan, and when I was offered Snoke, I just couldn't wait. He was the first person I told, and the passion that he has is like the passion that you all have, and that to be on the receiving end of that from you guys is, you know, it just goes to show a mythological, you know, canon like this is just fantastic to be part of as an actor, and to be a storyteller within, because this mythology is so profound and it means so much to so many people, and I realized that to have the opportunity of not only coming to it once but twice from a completely different perspective, seeing the world from a, you know, a despotic leader who is capable of such utter horror and destruction, and from a kind of lowly worker who finds himself, to have that opportunity and for it to be appreciated and shared with all of you and everybody out there who watches these films and loves this mythology. It's just an enormous honor, and it's you guys who make these films and these TV series continue to be what they are. It's all about you, so thank you. Thank you.
Well said. The stories may be fiction, but the emotions are real and the passion is real, and we're just so glad to have you as part of the Star Wars family. Did you have a favorite part about your role in Andor?
My favorite part? Well, you know, it probably was that well, there were two scenes. There's the scene where Kino really does flash for the first time when he realizes that they're not going to escape, because it was, like I was saying, it was like a real outpouring of kind of, we're never going to get out of here, you know, and it was sort of like for real.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the build up to the escape, and then the final moment on the bridge as everybody was jumping up. You know, the moment of I can't swim really was trying to find a way there's a way of delivering that which would make it sound very kind of cheesy and sentimental, and we tried to play against that. And I was very fortunate to be working with Toby Haynes, the director of that particular that arc, who gave me the opportunity of exploring different ways of doing that, well, that scene and that line. And so that was really thrilling to have that opportunity. All you want as an actor is to have the opportunity to fail by being in an environment that is safe to explore and push yourself. And when you have someone who creates that atmosphere, that's wonderful. So that was great.
I'm just picturing you now, like at home in your bathroom now that has the sign on it, but before that, just practicing the I can't swim, I can't swim, I can't swim. And probably on program as well. Yes, did that take some practicing to get that growl just right?
Yeah. I mean, when of course, when Cassian comes into the prison and we're introduced to the floor, the level 5 floor, you know, I really wanted him to be an obnoxious bully, and so I just thought he's just got to sound like he goes through this every day. There's prisoners arriving. He doesn't care. He's just going to get them through the door, get them working as quickly as possible. All he cares about is filling his quota for the day. That's it. End of story. And so I just wanted him to be, you know, not your best friend, basically, you know.
But by the end there, you and Cassian, well, you and Diego, I imagine, behind the scenes as well, but for sure Kino and Cassian are quite the duo.
Yeah. I mean, Diego, as you all know from watching, is He's a formidable actor and a brilliant scene partner, and we had a ball playing those scenes together. And I really loved, sparring with him on set and playing off of what he was giving me and what I could give him. And he's, not only, of course, was he an actor on the piece, but he's also part producer on it, and so he had a lot to deal with, and was constantly reworking, and he was just a fabulous person. He's a really honourable, decent human being who really cares about this. So it was great to work opposite someone like that.
You can tell that everyone working on Andor cares very deeply. We just had Diego and Tony yesterday. You have been a phenomenal guest, Andy. Well, we're gonna swim on out of here, so you can either stage dive into the crowd. That would be their preference. You can lead them in an on program or a one-way out, or you can simply walk backstage, where?
Well, I think we should put it to the vote. Who wants to go on program? Okay. On program! I love you too. And one way out! One way out! One way out!
One way